All right, so today we're going to be talking about two new Subsonic 300 blackout offerings from Phantom Defense. We've got a 242 grain expanding bullet. The bullet's made by Maker. We've got a 238 grain fracturing bullet, and this bullet's actually made by Phantom Defense. And if you're familiar with 300 blackout at all, you'll know that's on the heavier end of the subsonic realm. Normally they cap out around 220 grain, and your self-defense bullets a lot of times are even lighter than that. So I've seen some solid cast lead bullets that are around that 240 grain, but these are the first solid copper expanding, like good bullets that are past that 220 grain. So one thing to mention is both of these bullets require a 1 in 5 twist to stabilize. So if you've got a 1 in 7 or a 1 in 8, don't buy these because they're probably not going to stabilize and you might risk getting a baffle strike in your suppressor. But in my opinion, I'm kind of happy we're finally building bullets built around those 1 in 5 twists because we get better performance when we're not worried about a 1 in 7 or a 1 in 8 barrel. Like, as an industry, you're kind of limiting yourself by appealing to the lowest common denominator in a way. So I'm happy to see we're finally building bullets purpose-built for those faster twists. All right, so for the accuracy test, I put a Leupold Mark V 3-18 on my Honey Badger, which has a 7-inch 1 in 5 twist barrel. And the place I could get the best position was at 88 yards, so that's where all these groups are. So the 238 grain fracturing got a 1.8 inch group, so at 100 that'd probably be around 2-ish. And 960 feet per second, SD of 11.7, and this is how far the base penetrated into the gel. But so for the 242 grain expander, got a 1.9 inch, so probably be a hair over 2 inches at 100 yards. 975 feet per second, SD of 4, and this one penetrated 21 inches in gel, and it expanded about 3/4 of an inch. So one thing to keep in mind is when you buy this ammo, you select your barrel length. So this is the 5 to 7 inch offering, and then I think it goes from 5 to 8 and then 8 to 12, I don't remember. But anyway, you buy it based on your barrel length. So these are probably the speeds you're gonna see in your respective barrel length. It's gonna be probably just a hair under 1,000. So moving into the ballistic gel test, I wanna talk about the ballistic gel blocks for a little bit first. So Clear Ballistics, they gave me a coupon code a while back. It was like 30% off, and I told them I'd shout them out in the video, and I forgot. This was a while back, but so shout out to Clear Ballistics for that coupon code, and that's basically what all this YouTube ad revenue goes to, is just more of those blocks. So these are 10% synthetic gel blocks. So FBI standard is 10% organic gel, and I think the NATO standard might be 20% organic gel. But the big difference, as far as my understanding, between organic and the synthetic stuff is the organic ballistic gel shows the temporary stretch cavity in more detail, kind of as if it's a permanent stretch cavity or something. It looks different, but the reason I don't use stuff like that is because, one, it doesn't look good on video, it's not clear, and two, you kind of need tighter environmental conditions. Those have a really tight temperature operating window where the clear stuff is much wider. So that's why I'm using the synthetic stuff. All that being said, the 242 grain expander, the bullet expanded to 0.75 inches, which is pretty big, and it penetrated 21 inches into the block. So the 200 grain Maker bullet that we tested a few months ago, I think it went 19 inches, so that extra mass is definitely helping it penetrate a little bit more. So you have a 3/4 inch broadhead spinning through 21 inches into the gel. So that's pretty impressive. But what's more interesting to me is the fracturing bullet. So I've been following the development of 300 blackout for a really long time. Small arm stuff, especially weird stuff like 300 blackout, has been an interest of mine for a long time. But anyway, In the past, when we started getting into expanding Subsonics, there was like 4 pedal expanders, and we had some fracturing bullets like this, and it seems like the whole industry has sort of moved towards 3 pedal expanders. So I'm curious that the fracturing bullets might be making a comeback, because I think they're utilizing that faster twist to make them more effective, because Phantom Defense has done a lot of testing on pigs and stuff, and they've got a really gnarly picture I'll put in here, which is their 400 grain 8.6 fracturing bullet. This is the exit wound on a pig, and I'll see if I can get some pictures of some pigs they shot with this 238 grain stuff. But I'm curious what you guys think in the comments between fracturing and expanding bullets. One thing that I was kind of thinking about was, if you get a not so perfect shot on a pig with an expander, it's just going to be that one thing going through, potentially missing like the vitals. But if something like this fracturing bullet, if you like get an otherwise bad shot, could one of those pedals shoot off and make it a vital shot, like shoot off and hit the heart? So I don't know. I kind of lean towards fracturing bullets potentially being more effective. They might come with their own set of issues, because like for example, when I shot into the block, the top one and the one that went out the side, like the trees behind it, one of the limb off a willow like fell off and the other one went off. So it's like, you know, could that be a liability? I kind of don't think that's how it would behave in like an animal. I think they would more or less not be just flying out every which direction. But I'm more interested in the fracturing bullets at this point. I'm curious to see where that goes, especially, like I said, utilizing this fast twist. So yeah, let me know what you guys think in the comments. So a few other things about this ammo in terms of reliability. I haven't been able to shoot much because it is very expensive. So for 50 rounds, I think it's $125 for each of these loadings. So I loaded a magazine full of them, sure feed, and it worked fine, which was actually kind of surprising, because the ogives aren't exactly perfect for 300 blackout, where that thing in the magazine kind of pushes them, but not so severe that they don't feed in the magazine, which was actually kind of surprising. So they work well in sure feeds, and they obviously work well in the 300 blackout specific magazines that are built for these types of bullets. So reliability, as far as I can tell with my very minimal testing, is there. And so as far as like a hunting bullet or self-defense bullet, I think it could be a pretty good option. And one thing I do want to bring up, because I see it a lot in my comments, people talking about using Subsonics because of over-penetration in a house. But the thing is, in gel, and from my experience shooting living things, Subsonics always penetrate way, way more than a supersonic. Supersonics like are lighter, so once they hit going that much faster, the energy is dumped a lot faster, and they don't have that mass to carry through. Like the Barnes 110 is a great example. I don't think I've ever had it exit a 16-inch block, or if they did, it's like barely. With the subs, they're always exiting blocks, so sub penetrate more than supers. So if over penetration is a concern, I would use supers. But anyways, thank you for watching.